Hello everyone, my name is Anurag Patel. I run Explorer called as XRPScan, and today I'll be talking about not BigQuery but SmallQuery. BigQuery is a service by Google, and which used to run like it used to index all the transactions in a BigQuery survey search engine. And there were some shortcomings. I thought I could do better. The use case was different. It was very expensive to run and query as well. And there were several approaches to this. I used to run a MongoDB instance as well to query. Thomas used to run a new 4J based for a different use case and a different performance profile. So the genesis of this was a lot of users used to come in to the XRPScan support saying, I sent a token or XRP in 2017 to some address. I don't know what the transaction hash is. I just know it was sent like 100 XRP and in this per date range. So there's no way to really search in RippleD, or none of the tools provide that capability to go in the full history and search for a specific, a very vague idea of like a token transaction in like 6 years ago. So that was the use case that I wanted to target, and I chose Elasticsearch as the backend, and it kind of fit the performance profile which I wanted here. And also to address, I'll touch in the end the BigQuery part of it, which is querying like a SQL. Like a lot of people are fluent in SQL, but they may not be able to craft a JSON or create a Elasticsearch query. So for them, SQL is a nice bridge to query full text search engine. And how I'm also porting this to Xahau. So that's a work in progress. I'll show some screenshots at the end. So this is also called as advanced search. SmallQuery is not an official name. I'm sure it is copyrighted to Google some way or the other. This has been online for the last 6 months, the console which I'll be showing. And it has about 500 users per day, which compared to the rest of the Explorer is very small. And compared to the questions, the queries, support tickets I get, it is very small. So my hope was to popularize this, make people familiar with the search engine so that you can go back and share or start using it. The kind of use cases that I envision is folks who are running exchanges, the support teams in exchanges, running wallets, wherein you kind of get these kind of queries, like very vague queries with like some idea of when it was executed, the amount or token, but not very specific account IDs or not very specific transaction hashes, ledger IDs. So to address those kind of use cases, this is what I'm looking at. Right now, it has a full transaction history from XRPL, which had just recently, I think a couple of weeks ago, crossed 4 billion transactions. And as far as I know, this is the only public search engine which across any blockchain which provides you this kind of capability to search. I've like very casually search for anything which addresses Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of the top chains. I do not find any, at least none that is publicly accessible. Maybe the likes of chain analysis or other analytics services, they don't have it. Okay, good to know. Okay, so this is the console.xrpscan. If you go to the XRPScan website, on the last search button, click on that, you'll reach here. And you can filter your transactions using any of the 106 supported transaction fields. So you can mix and match. It is sorted as per if it's an integer, you can do greater than, lesser than. If it's a wallet address, you can put a wallet address. If it's a date, you get a date range. So, and get the results and then click on it and you have your transaction hash. Let's take a look at a demo. I hope it's visible. Yeah. So it's a small amount. I'm just adding a delivered amount. This is the, instead of amount, you should always use delivered amount, right? And delivered currency is Xahau. Search for it. I'll take another example, which is, let's say, fees. One of the things that people like to talk about is what is the largest fees folks have paid. Fees, it's, let's say, greater than 1,000 XRP. Well, there are people who have done this. So this is sorted by date. This is very recent. Wow. So this entity has paid 1,100, almost like 3,000 XRPS fees. Oh, sorry, 3,000 USD fees. Sorry?
Is it fully sortable by all the fields and other stuff?
Not yet, but again, that's I think just a UI thing I need to figure out. Yeah. Right now, it's sorted by ledger index, which also means date. So.
That makes sense.
Again, one of the most common queries I used to field was, let's say, date is between, let's say I sent it last year or last month, 1st April to, sorry, date is between 1st April and 30th April, and rule delivered amount is greater than, let's say, any amount, 1000 XRP, for example. So this is a very specific query. You can go back till 2013 and search for any date that you want, and you get the results. And you can start customizing this result by, let's say, a destination or destination tag. Let's say a lot of people, they send funds to destination tag 0, and if they send it to a personal wallet, that's fine. But when you send it to exchange, by mistake type 0 or 123 or something, that lands into a black hole. So these are the people who have sent like CSC, XRP to uphold destination tag 0. So this is not going to be retrievable. You have to create a support ticket. Yeah.
Do you do any kind of statistics on what people are using the advanced search for, and what the most common search types are?
Yeah, most common is the couple of people search for memos and specific memos, and these are the, I think, sniper bots or something. They're searching for, I guess, specific destination tag, and that's probably 10%. A lot of people search for a specific account, and they keep on querying in a loop to look for new transactions from that account, I suppose. Like, again, sniper bot something. So a real use case that I intended for is very small amount, but a lot of automated queries are coming in too.
So you have an API for this as well?
Yeah, there's an API. It is a REST-based API. You send a query in Elasticsearch DSL and SQL also, as I'll cover in the end. So you can query that and get results. Yeah, going back. Now, same thing I've ported to Xahau as well. Xahau console is in development. Nothing changed. Only thing is the Xahau ledger has specific amendments which have specific fields which are yet to be added. So it's a work in progress. At the Xahau console, ignore the error, please. Yeah, it's just work in progress. But yeah, it's very similar. You select your fields and you can query. This is not full history yet. It will take some time to query everything, all 14 million ledgers. But it should be, I hope to be able to announce it in a few weeks when this is completely indexed. Now coming to SmallQuery part of it, as I mentioned, as Scott also asked, is there an API? There's an API which is, so the way it works is there's a search engine which is a Node.js and Express-based application, and you send the Elasticsearch crafted DSL, and it just proxies it to Elasticsearch and gets the result back. But it can become complicated. The various kind of query types that Elastic supports can make it complicated. But for a regular user who is already proficient and a lot of documentation is already available in SQL, you can get learn SQL very easily, right? So it's possible to now also query this data via SQL. I may show a small demo. Okay, I have a small example called as search.json. So what you do is use the documentation again, craft a specific JSON called as match. Destination is, this is a Coinbase address, and destination tag is 123. So using the documentation again, you can craft more complex queries, which is amount is lesser than, amount is greater than. You can do all of that. And when I query this, send it to Elasticsearch and underscore, and I'll format this with JQ. So this will return everything. So this is raw result. It contains all the transactions where the destination is Coinbase and tag is 123. So same thing that you can craft from a UI, you can query that via API as well. Now, an equivalent SQL statement, sorry, cat SQL.json. So I would say this is much easier than crafting a very complicated JSON based DSL. Select star from transactions, limit 10. Now this will return a little complicated SQL, but we'll format this afterwards. I've created a bash script which encapsulates the whole URL and authentication and everything. Just a bash script which takes SQL JSON as a parameter, same file which is printed above, and it will return all the fields. These are all the fields, sorry. These are all the fields which are present in a transaction. Now, instead of select star, I will say select specific fields, cat SQL1.json, select transaction type, account, CTID, amount.value from transactions limit 10. So it's not doing any filtering, no where clause, but just return what is 5 or 6 fields. Nice. So it returns in a nice SQL format. And you can, if you customize the bash script, you can say format equals to plain text out, or format equals to JSON. You can select your output formats. Customizing it further, SQL2.json. So in this, what I'm doing is select same fields where destination tag is 123. Is it? So I will add another field over there, and only those transactions that match that query. And that's destination 123. These are all the transaction results. Limit by 10, but you can go more complex. You can select by amount, destination account, source account, everything you can customize.
So how many people have actually sent to 123?
A lot.
So can you do a select count, I guess?
Well, yeah, that's right.
See how many people sent to 123.
So Elasticsearch has this limit of 10,000 results because it's not a real SQL engine. So it translates from a Lucene query to SQL, right? So it has a limit on the number of matches it does. So 10,000 is the max. So if it's 10,000, it could be a million or a 10,000 or something, right? So, okay, let me make a new file.
Yeah.
Okay, fingers crossed.
Nice. Naming field as a. Oh!
94,000 something.
Nice.
What would the cost of an individual support ticket be?
94,000 people sent to 123. Nice.
And I think a lot more people send to destination tag 0. So let's see that as well.
That will be good. Overflow error.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
That's a few of those. But that we'd actually have to include the low drop transactions because this is spam.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
So then another filter would be delivered amount above 1,000 drops.
Yeah.
Then you have a real number.
Yeah. This is 62 million or something. So.
How much space does the Elasticsearch database take up? Do you have a sense of that?
Yeah, I have the server has about 8 terabytes, so it's about 60% full. So I'm assuming 4 or 5 terabytes. So what I'm doing is,
Or just what you've queried so far?
so what I'm doing is I'm dropping a lot of fields. So the tx.affected fields, which is the mutation data, I'm dropping that because it's useless to query that.
Yeah.
Everything that you would want to query, at least for the 99% use cases, is there in the top level fields. And .meta, results, also those 4 or 5 fields are there, but the mutation data is not there. So like complex queries like getting NFT ID from a newly minted NFT, that's difficult probably because you have to iterate through the affected nodes.
I'm just being mean here. I'm just asking. So can you do join?
With the new Elasticsearch, the one which I have installed is 8.0, but 9.0 something which released a couple of months ago, that has table joins and everything. So you could do that. I'm not sure how efficient that would be, but yeah. So going to the next topic for Xahau, I have an ask from Xahau team. If possible, if new amendments come in, please document all those fields so that I can add it. Elasticsearch has a mapping, idea of mapping.
You can automate this. The server definitions are automatically published.
They
If you just type in your browser right now, if you go to Xahau.network /
oh, you know the entire URL, okay.
Flash network.
/server_definitions. That's it.
That's it?
Then you get JSON with all the fields, transaction types, flags, everything. This is actually what binary codec uses as well.
And
Well, this is actually just a get that is being turned into a post, which is just a JSON RPC server. This is actually merged to XRPL now as well, so you can also do a JSON, an RPC post or a WebSocket call to server definitions. So you can always keep your binary codec up to date with what's running on the ledger.
That's really nice.
The JS libraries will also use this for binary codec.
Sure.
Yeah, actually you can construct, if you take the result from this call and you feed it into the XRPL definitions class and you feed that to binary codec, then you can always work with whatever field is available on whatever network you're connected to.
so this is a field of the ledger objects.
Sorry?
These are the fields of the ledger objects, or are these fields from the transaction fields that you?
Transaction types, fields, field types, everything.
Okay, I'll take a look.
Some documentation.
Yeah, but he still likes the documentation for
Yeah, I would.
He was being very polite.
Please document your code, your features too. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much for your ideas. These are 2 URLs. This is coming soon. That's already available. Very less number of users. If you can spread the word or start using it, or let me know after using it if there's something required from my side to implement. Yep. Thank you very much.
Are you running Xahau full history?
No, not right now. I'm using the
Anurag, there are questions.
Yes, yes.
Trying to.
So you mentioned asking for the fields of the new amendments, and that binary, or what you saw there, includes all of the fields for everything. So what you could do is take the difference between one version and another. However, we are talking about adding which fields are on which transaction type.
Right.
So you don't have that right there, or from that alone, as well as which fields are on which ledger entry.
Right.
And doing that, you could actually build an agnostic SDK. Well, you can do things in yours, because I notice you have fields by transaction type in your search. But going even further, we could have an agnostic SDK where you could immediately, once that version is live, you would be able to know that new transaction type and what those fields are on that transaction type, and cultivate a transaction. So it's really an interesting thing. I have a couple websites that do that right now, but we just build it based off the SDK. But I think one of the goals in the future is to get the entire binary codec on an exported RPC, so the flags, all of that. And
Yeah.
I think that would just sort of help.
And in fact,
everyone.
actually, that was
The number?
No.
Because then you wouldn't have to diff between the two different documents if you had version number for when a field.
You
was
could.
used.
We export a hash in Xahau, so you would be able to check whether or not your current hash is different. So that's one way, but
so. In fact, that is what I was actually looking for,
Right.
because a lot of fields are common across transaction types, like expires, for example, and many others.
Right.
And the way I've designed the front end is, if you select a specific transaction type, the fields which are under that will change as well. So having like one unique entry would be then challenging. But if I know the mapping that this one includes 2 common fields or 3 common fields which are common across other transactions as well, that'll be helpful to make a more useful query interface.
sure.